Dzindzichashvili. In today's lecture, we're going to have on general principles in chess. Well, general principles in chess, of course, I'm sure you heard it many times in the beginning of your chess playing, once you learn chess, such as develop pieces, not to develop queen in the early stage. I told this to almost everyone I got across to when I was teaching chess. But what happens is, a lot of times when I observe chess players playing it, they neglect those general rules. And who neglects those general rules? Normally and more frequently, people that are higher rated. And the reason for it is that they know, of course, they know better than anyone that you have to develop pieces in the early stage. You don't develop queens, and but they also know one bad thing about this rule, and about every rule, that every rule has exceptions. So they think they are above those rules, they know these rules, and that's why it's okay for them to sometimes to violate these rules, because they see this position is different, is an exception. Well, but the word exception, definition of this word, that means exception happens once in a great while. That's why I tell my students that there are no exceptions, they don't exist. And once they are very good following, almost religiously following their general principles, then they're gonna find out themselves much later that there are exceptions, and they will treat them as exceptions. The other rule, and this is the theme of today's topic of today's lecture, is how the general principles go together with computers. Computers were used to violate general principles of chess for decades. They were strong computers. They will still beat you because they calculate so much better than you. But until recently, this was changed. With the arrival of Rybka, and currently I do a lot of work for Rybka, with Rybka, and I came to conclusion that Rybka is one of the greatest tools for learning. Rybka respects proper development and will not go pawn grabbing in early stage of the game. I was always telling my students, don't play against computers, because computers will mislead you. They will tell you to go to play like this and that, and the plan would be like to win a pawn, but that's a bad thing to do. Well, Rybka has certain preferences for development and for obeying the general rules set very high. Next game I'm going to show you, it was played just very, very recently, like several days ago. It was played in Computer World Championship. There were 3 different categories. This World Championship was played in a blitz, in a standard game, different time controls. Rybka won all of them very convincingly. Well, the game I want to show you, I was extremely impressed in a way. Of course, there is no combination in the world can be played by a computer that you can be very impressed with it. No, you cannot be impressed with computer combinations because they are flawless, they calculate everything, millions. So what you can be impressed is with the way the strategy was conducted. Game was played between Rybka and Schroeder. Schroeder is one of the top programs today, number 2-3 program in the world. And this is amazing to see how the game went. Now, I have to go with e4. That's what happened. e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, knight f6, castle, and knight takes e4. This is very well known position, and the main move is d4. This is Berlin variation of Ruy Lopez. Well, d4, of course, Rybka's book, opening book, is very sophisticated, and Rybka played in this position different move, queen e2. And here is why was this move played. This is not the best move by far. It's not the best move, and objectively it gives no advantage. But Rybka would play, and it was a clever decision by the Rybka team to play queen e2 move, because it gives black an opportunity to maintain an extra pawn. So, for example, the main move here should be played knight d6, bishop takes c6, dc, queen takes e5, queen e7, queen a5, queen d8, preparing bishop e7, and position approximately equal. But in the game was played knight g5 in this position. Knight g5 was played, and knight takes g5, queen takes g5, and d4. This is beginning of black's trouble. After d4, queen e7, of course white can get pawn back easily and take on e5, but then black has bishop pair and approximately equal position, but white is consistent with the plan. They play d takes e, and they don't mind playing with a pawn down, but with better development. Now it's going to become very, very instructive. Taking of this pawn is not good, because white is going to exchange simply, and white is going to win the black knight after f4. Of course, this cannot be played, and no computer will make any move like this. But after knight d4, that this is the move was played, queen d3, and now queen takes e5. This is the position Rybka went for. Now, black's queen is not placed very well in the center, and you know, once queen's placed right in the center of the board, it will not be able to stand there for too long, and it's going to move, losing more and more tempos. And after queen takes e5, knight c3. Now this is already not the book position, and both players, both programs on their own. Well, the way Rybka evaluates this position is very, very different from any other computer program. Evaluates that she has significant development advantage to compensate absence of a pawn. And that's exactly what happened. Bishop c5, and now very strong move, queen to d1. After queen d1, rook e1, white wants to play, and if black goes castle, then rook e1, and now you're going to see more tempos will be lost with black's queen. If queen goes to d6 or even f6, then knight will go to e4, and on queen b6, bishop will go to d3, and queen is going to, later on queen is going to go to h5. White has serious initiative. Well, that's not what was played in the game. Knight e6 was played, and here you see how masterfully was by white taking advantage black's terrible position of the queen. Rook e1, queen d4, queen f3. Finally, black castles, and from now on, almost everything is forced. I was very impressed, and that made me believe that initiative is a lot more powerful thing that we ever knew. So after queen f3, now rook e4 was played. After black's castle, rook e4, queen d6 has to be played, rook h4, and you see this is the signal for very powerful kingside attack. Queen on d6 stands terribly because blocks development of c8 bishop, and h7 pawn, black's h7 pawn is a very serious target, and position is already very difficult. Queen e5 was played with the idea of pushing the d pawn, and bishop d2. White can make this quiet move, preparing to get last piece in the attack. Last piece, it's white's rook. They want to play rook e1 and bishop d3. After bishop d2, f5 was played. But it's difficult to suggest any other move. f5, because queen h3 is coming. It's a matter of time. Rook e1, queen f6, queen h3, and you see now black must forget about development and defend themselves against immediate threats. Queen g6, and now initiative. When we say there are two types of advantages in chess, there is an initiative and there is positional advantage. Positional advantage is sometimes you have good knight versus bad bishop, or big advantages in a pawn structure. Those are mostly static type of advantages. And initiative almost always is dynamic. So dynamic means that white has to act real quick to take advantage of their powerful piece placement before black develops rest of their pieces. So after queen to g6, knight d5 is super powerful move that was overlooked by Schroeder. It's tactical, and actually it's more based on the belief that White's initiative is overwhelming. And they have so the way Rybka looked, she has so many pieces in attack that there must be decisive continuation. Knight d5, c6 was played, and now rook takes e6. There is no mating combination here. There is no forced mate or anything. It's just White puts every piece in action and penetrates Black's position. Rook takes e6, queen takes e6. I just want you to notice that if pawn took on e6, then White would play knight f4. That's why White eliminated Black's knight, followed by rook takes h7. Would be devastating results, or maybe in this position first bishop to c3 and then rook takes h7. So anyway, what was played in this game, queen takes e6, now knight f4, attacking the queen and preparing rook takes a2. After knight f4, queen takes a2, rook h7. Now, I was taught in chess in Russia. They told me they don't have too many good things there, and chess is one of them. Black caviar is the other one. So not too many things I can be impressed about in Russia, but school of chess there is the best. They taught me if you have so many pieces in attack and almost no pieces defending your opponent, it must be a win. If you don't find a win, that means you have to improve your tactical skills. If you have perfect tactical skills, you don't find the win and intuition fails you, those things happen maybe 1 out of 10 players in their lifetime career. So almost never happens insignificantly. So that means maybe intuition failure. So one of the two, you have to work either on your intuition, or if you trust your intuition, you have to believe on your finishing skills. So after queen takes a2, rook takes h7 was played. Now queen a1 doesn't do anything because simply bishop goes to f1. And Black plays c takes b, threatening back rank mate. White doesn't have a forced mate yet. White has very powerful attack, but after move g3, simply open the luft on g2 for White's king. Black is absolutely unconditionally lost. It's totally lost. And after g3, now a simple threat here for White is, well, for example, if Black plays d6, queen h5 with threat of rook h8 mate, that there is no defense for Black. So Black played rook f6 here, trying to, on queen h5, trying to play maybe rook h6. Well, but we have to believe that we have overwhelming position here, and we have to have a win. So bishop to c3. Now you see every piece is in devastating attack on black's king. After bishop c3, queen, after bishop c3, queen f7, king f7, queen h4. That's very powerful move. The threat is rook takes. For example, if black makes some move, then after rook takes g7, queen takes f6, followed by queen g7 mate is decisive. So this cannot be done. So queen a6 was played, protecting black's rook. And after queen f6, there is a bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, and after queen h5 check, black resigned because black loses the queen. Queen is lost because if king e7, knight d5 check, and the same thing will happen if king goes to f8, because first rook h8 check followed by knight d5. White wins the queen, has continuing attacking, wins the queen, continuing attacking black's king, and position is absolutely resignable. Very powerful game. Powerful game. Actually, everything white used every imperfection, every general principle that we all very frequently violating, and it's been known that general principles are violated normally by computers, and in the game it's compensated by their calculating ability. Here we saw different. Every general principle was used by the computer, by Ripka for white. Well, and together, when it goes together with perfect calculation, it's a deadly weapon. And that's what makes this program on the highest level that any computer program was ever before, or will be, I think, in decades to go. So very powerful game. Now, what I want to tell you, besides, now development is number one general rule in chess. Well, you have in general rule in chess, you try to mate your opponent, and you should almost never violate these rules, because let me tell you what the danger on a lower level chess is. Why people continuously violating general principles? The answer, I was asked that. People, some real weak players, they will argue with me. They said, no, I played it and I did very well and I will continue doing it. They are correct in a way. They played, they did very well, but the reason why they did well, because their opponents played badly. If they play against good players will always punish them, and eventually they have to change their opinion, their view on those things. So it's better to change it when you're given advice not to do that than to learn it hard way. So this is perfect example, and I think you learned a lot from it. So this is my favorite game. I will bring you in the future very instructive thematics, themes on chess, of chess principles, some best games, interesting theoretical evaluations and theoretical novelties, observations, and I hope you improve yourself as a chess player following those principles. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon on the chess lectures This
is Grandmaster Damian Lemos here for onlinechesslessons.net. First of all, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to receive more free chess videos from us, you can just click the subscribe button below. I would also highly recommend signing up for my free mail course, the 10 Grandmaster Secrets to Dominate Chess. During this exclusive course from onlinechesslessons.net, I'll share with you my own Grandmaster shortcuts to effective attacking, defending, and growth hacks to improving your chess without complicated books or memorization. So sign up by clicking the sidebar on the right, and I know you won't be disappointed. Once more, this is Damian for onlinechesslessons.net, and I'll see you in my videos. Thank you.